Okay. I think this is a little better.
Oh, got all that buzz. Not our mask buzz. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Well, like I said. All right, so we good? Can you hear me? You hear me? We
Yeah, I
good?
hear you.
Everybody's good.
Yeah, I hear you. How weird. Okay.
Anna's trying to work on her setup, y'all. So,
I've been I've been trying to work on it. This makes no sense
you know what?
whatsoever.
You know what I like about this though?
Huh.
This shows what when like people like the engineers and people who are trying to get it together. This is what you're going through is exactly what we go through.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So even Spider, the mastermind, like I remember when we first started out, he went through the same thing. He couldn't hear music or he couldn't figure it out. And it's like as you do it, you start figuring out how to do it. Like I figured out the best setup, the best. So,
This
good.
isn't bad either. Look. Go on Facebook. Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm always trying to do with Zoom is get it so it doesn't look like my eyes are shut. Because I have this other, I'm on this other podcast, and I'm always trying to get it right for that, the Bewitched podcast, and that's streaming this Thursday. Is the finale of Twitch Talk, the Bewitched podcast I am on with a fabulous team of people, and it's the one they have this thing, where we're all supposed to look like the Brady Bunch up and down, and you know how it is sometimes when somebody can ask you to do something really simple, but when there's 8 people there, everybody asks questions and it just gets confusing.
Right.
That's what happened. And then the other thing he asked us to do was to look from right to left, because he's doing a graphic at the bottom of the screen of a car going down, and so it's supposed to look like you're looking at the car. I thought I had it. I really thought I had it. I still think I had it. Everybody was asking questions, and I was like, yeah, right to left. I'm going to do it, but it looks like I did it on the preview. It looks like I did it twice or something. It's still not.
Anna,
It's.
you had it. They just ain't telling you had it.
Yeah, man. I think everyone else was wrong.
They're just not telling you the truth.
Yeah. Well, the person who points it out is Taylor. Taylor, are you listening, homie? Taylor, the TV professor who's been on our show, who I tried to get to come on our show before, but he was in pajamas. I don't know why you're worried about that, Taylor, because just about everybody's on Zoom in their pajamas. I'm not, but yeah. So, man, I love seeing Vice President Harris. I just love that. I love.
Man, they gonna have them a hard road ahead of them, man. I hate to say it, man. I mean, dude, has it even been a week yet?
It will be wait a minute. It's a week. It'll be a week tomorrow, I think. No, it's a week.
Okay,
it was a week 2 days ago. Their inauguration was Tuesday. Yeah, a week.
So it's been about a week, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there like tripping. It's like, I'm seeing all these posts, like people expecting them to have miracles happening, like he just got on. I'm like, what do you guys expect him to do? And like, I mean, this was like people's trip pipeline. And like, man, can you guys give the dude a chance first? Let them all get it together. I don't get it, man.
The fucking left has not learned. Well, you know who's leading it, man. You know who's leading it?
I know.
Your boy. Bird dog. the fucking day of the inauguration or something, he tweeted about how the Republicans and the Democrats needed to step up or something, and fucking, you know, he's trying to like push what he considers to be his agenda. And it's like, you know, the left, you know, it's, I think the left the left damaged Obama more than the right, so far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Remember, as soon as Obama was elected, everybody's saying like it's not enough, he's not doing enough, he's not doing enough, and you know, the right doesn't do that, and they have young people in their midst, you know, like AOC and Ilhan Omar and all of them, but they don't go around, you know, trying to like go up against the leadership of their party. So
Right.
yeah. It's just fucked up. It's like, oh, it's not going to be enough, and yeah, exactly. I mean,
Well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen, man. I don't know, man. There's too much weirdness going on, man. Like a setup for failure or something, man. It just seems weird.
yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like people haven't learned. Well, shit, that was what, you know, that's what got, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to dwell on Burn Dog, but that's what got him. I mean, but see, I follow this group of people on Twitter that hate Burn Dog too. And, you know, they're saying when he was talking about Hillary being corrupt, Trump's people went with that and used it. And Jesus, man, you gotta learn to hang together with people, you know?
Yeah, you do. You do. I don't. That's one of the things I've noticed that I hate to say between the Republicans and the Democrats is even when Republicans seem like they don't like each other, they seem to stick together a little better. Even with some of the like with the whole Trump, I'm surprised some of them are even still kind of sticking with it, but they stick with it, man.
They do. And you know, I mean, they're young people, you know, I mean, AOC is like complaining about Nancy Pelosi. That's like so disrespectful. And, you know, their young people aren't complaining about Mitch McConnell, so far as I can see. So, yeah, I mean, well, learn to hang together to the public. Like, you know, yeah, you can totally try and duke it out with people in private, but I mean all you do with this divisive stuff is just the other side will just take that and use it to their advantage. So
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
I just don't know.
yeah, it's fucked up, real fucked up. So I don't know, man. Kamala and Uncle Joe, we are pulling for you over there. I mean, you know, it's like this, like I don't know, man. I feel like the people who are leading the charge are just people that are spoiled and expect to get everything they want.
Right. I don't know, man. We're gonna have to see what happens. What is your thoughts on the whole pipeline situation?
On the what?
On the whole pipeline situation with him stopping the I guess the whole oil thing with the pipeline that Trump had going on. Are you okay with it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's terrible for the environment. I mean, they're running it right under tribal land, and the Native Americans don't want it there. So yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know a tremendous lot about it, but yeah, you know, elders were out there in the freezing cold for months, and yeah, I mean, you know, don't fuck with the Native Americans' land, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, it seems like Trump set up I kind of call them traps. It's like he set it up in a way, like even with the pipeline thing. Because I remember back when those Indians that are native to that area didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
And I've heard two sides of the stories. I heard something. There was a guy. He was explaining something about some kind of something water treatment or some weird thing with the water that if they did this pipeline, it would keep food from going to certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot. I can't tell you. That's what I'm saying. Don't quote me on how he exactly explained it, but he said there's two sides to it. Everybody's just getting the one side with the jobs. You know, all these people supposedly lost all these jobs, but from what I'm hearing, there's areas near that, towns, you know, Indian reservations, or people that if that pipeline was made, it would be hard for them to grow food or get food or something that they wanted to do that they can't do. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know I don't know a tremendous lot about it. Yeah, yeah, but man, it seems like it's been going on forever. I mean,
ever.
You know, I mean, God, Biden came in, and you know, it's crazy to me that, I mean, in a way, you know, he's putting the U.S. back into the Paris Climate Agreement.
Yeah.
And the World Health Organization. He lifted the ban on transgender men and women serving in the military. And that's good. I mean, that is a big deal. It's just very important because to me, if you know, it's just flat out preventing and discriminating against people from having the life that they want to have. And I don't know, I mean, it's not like it's not like a field where you can not get a job and continue looking for a job in the same field. You're in the military or you're not in the military. So
right.
Yeah, that's really important. Then and we talked about this before. Then he went and signed a bill or something or other about sports and kids being able to participate in sports based on the gender they identify with. And I mean, I have a problem with that because I not with whatever the kids are doing, but I feel like it's such red meat for both sides of, it's such red meat for everybody politically, and there's so much drama and misinformation, and I don't feel like it helps kids at all, basically.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I actually feel like, I don't know. I mean, I just don't feel like it's necessarily a positive thing for kids to get into these legal issues. And I don't know, man. If I had a transgender kid, I mean, or gender variant kid, or gender questioning kid, I mean, I just might ask them to see if they could find some other activity to do instead of playing on this team, you know. And that would be considered sacrilege for a lot of people, but you know, I mean, are you gonna put your time and energy into fighting to do something that even when, if you get to do it, you're still going to have lots of other kids mad at you. And
Right.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's a red meat political issue for people on all sides. And yeah, that's all. And he also, now this is cool, this relates to some of the stuff that we've talked about a lot. Biden is proposing to send a significant amount of money to Honduras, to Central American country. Okay, yeah, Joe Biden wants $4 billion in aid for Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala to reduce migration. Talked about it with Mexican president. I was like, okay, now that is smart.
That's very smart.
Yeah.
See, but you know that there's people that don't like that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, that is a more diplomatic way of handling that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, right, there's another caravan headed toward the U.S. of like 8,000 people, and you know, you can't. So, you know, instead of having them come to the United States and get caught in ICE and all of that, you know, try and help them not need to do that, or try and help them go through legal challenges, because it seems like, I mean, what's happening now isn't working. Nobody is. It doesn't, even the inhumanity of separating families and all of that doesn't seem to be deterring people from going.
Right.
You know, and what they say, I mean, you know, is a lot of people leave because of gangs and violence. So if you can send money to countries to try and like help shore up security, which is really difficult because a lot of the time law enforcement is the gangs, or you know. So, but yeah, they got to do something. I mean, they can't just. And then so I was looking at it, and 3 million people were deported under Obama. And so people are asking, I'm looking at these articles with people asking, and you know, of course, like journalists are going to go for a good story. People are like, is my daddy going to get to be sent, going to get to come back? And that's not necessarily the answer. I mean, they have to figure out a way. Hey, you want to come on, baby? I'll send him the link. They have to figure out a legal solution to this. It doesn't, you know, and as I say each time, you know, I mean, this is not, I don't have a right to, I mean, you know, I don't care, you know, it's not my country. So far as this is not personal for me, but they need to try and figure out some legal mechanism. Okay, here's another interesting, not personal thing. I was reading, we've been talking about Holocaust reparations, and so I was reading about a legal case going on where some guys that live in California are trying to get back a violin that belonged to their grandfather. Their grandfather was their grandfather had a music store, and the violin, and so there's disagreement about whether he sold it or when his shop was taken over by the Nazis. And so the violin now is housed in it disappeared like between the 40s and then was found again in 1974, and the people that owned it then donated it to a music school with the stipulation that it be used by students to give public concerts. And the violin is worth $180,000. The thing is, though, that's not a lot. I mean, antique violins can go for millions. I mean, or like you know, not just like high six figures. So that's not even all that much for a violin. And so I was talking about it with my dad, and we very rarely have these sort of conversations but I like to tell him what I'm preparing for this show. And I asked him if this was our family, would he want something back? And so he asked me, and he said, well, would you, to me? And I said, I hope. And I said, I mean, you don't know unless you have the opportunity. But I said, I hope I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not in need of anything, and so. And then my dad lives at a supportive living facility where they have a really amazing art collection, because a lot of artists have lived there and art lovers. So it's a big deal there. If a piece of art is taken, you can't add art. You can only add art if something is taken down. And so it's a really big deal. So we were talking about the violin, and I was like, yeah, Dad, you don't have any place to put the violin. But
now, I was going to ask you, this is kind of off the subject. Does your dad Twitch with you? Is he on your Twitch?
Oh, no.
You mean do the Twitch?
On Twitch Talk?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no. That is something that
okay.
Oh, no. That is something that, at one point I was talking with my dad about it. There was some major development that I was talking about it with him recently, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's one of the things that I never even talked to my dad about Twitch Talk. It is just so far, it is so far off of his radar. I was surprised. We were talking about the music at the inauguration. I mean, I was surprised my dad knew who Garth Brooks was. Like, good job.
What? You don't think your dad would know who Garth Brooks is?
I mean, he certainly doesn't listen to that kind of music. And I mean, my family is we're practically like second generation Europeans. I mean, I didn't know who Johnny Cash was till I was an adult, well into adulthood. I didn't know who Elvis was till he died. Yeah. We didn't. So yeah, that was good going. So no, he does not know anything about Twitch Talk and Bewitched and all of that. But yeah, he likes hearing about this stuff. So yeah, so that's just weird to me. I mean, especially since the violin is being used for the public good. It's being used for students, and yeah. Hey Thug, I sent you the link, homie. So yeah, but then this is kind of interesting. I mean, this was Okay, fuck, I was watching a show, a segment about antiquities in Indonesia, about antiquities being returned to Indonesia from Holland. And Holland is actually ponying up, I mean, Holland, sent a couple thousand things back, 1,000 antiquities back to a museum in Indonesia, and was going to send more, but people in Indonesia wanted them to hold up because with COVID, they don't even have enough staff to properly prepare and get stuff ready. But they ran into an issue where descendants of, there were crowns and stuff from royalty, and they ran into a situation where the descendants wanted stuff for themselves. They just wanted to keep it, which I'm sure that meant sell it. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of different. And I don't know. I don't think the colonialists should be able to keep something. But if it's been 800 years, I kind of feel like the public good should be served.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was talking about it. I mean, I feel like returning antiquities is real, and reparations are really important in the cases of systemic discrimination, systemic racism, which is the case in the United States, which has damaged people. And so, yeah, there should be reparations in the United States, but the Holocaust was episodic. I mean, it was an incident. I mean, it was so I don't know. So I feel that, people that need help should get help, but if you're fine and you don't really need anything, I don't think you need to go asking the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the people that hurt you to give you something back. I mean...
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, shit. One of the things Trump did was... This was so fucking crazy. It was just released was commission a report called the 1776 Commission, which was basically a group of white male historians that basically took it upon themselves to minimize atrocities committed by the United States. And they did it in response to the 1619 Project, which we've talked about a lot, which, it's an incredible series of articles and a podcast explaining how the United States, how slavery contributed to building the economy of the United States. I thought I understood systemic racism before I listened to that podcast, but you just really get it a lot more. I just can't recommend it highly enough. And, there's disagreements about it. People disagree about history and interpretations, but... they used their information is not wrong. I mean, it's so, it's being taught in schools, which it should be, and then Trump and all of his people are real pissed off about that, so they commissioned the 1776 project, which is, I don't know, man. I mean, it looks like the sort of stuff that people would have been getting taught in like the 50s, like our great nation, blah, blah, not acknowledging that the founding fathers enslaved people. So, I mean, I saw it. I didn't really know about it. I saw it on Twitter. I follow Twitter's my places for I get history, and I go there for history and burn dog hate.
Burn dog. Burn dog.
Yeah, man, there's some people that really know how to take down Burn Dog. And I don't have many Twitter, I'm not interested in having a Twitter following or anything. I mean, I don't retweet that stuff because I don't want to get into arguments with people on Twitter. I just don't want to expend my energy that way. But yeah, man, there are some fucking witty ass people there that I follow, man. Really smart people. Okay, so we got a lot going on. We got a lot of news about restitution and reparations going on right now. So we're moving over to Algeria, and we've talked before about a report that was commissioned by Emmanuel Macron, the president. So he's ruled out issuing an official apology for colonial abuses in Algeria. There will be no repentance. There will be no, they can't even not apologize. They have to issue a statement saying that they won't apologize. And so they said instead the president would take part in symbolic acts aimed at promoting reconciliation. It's like, how can you even say this shit? I mean, symbolic acts. And so I watched there weren't even any Algerian historians on this fucking panel. And it wasn't so, okay, so here's some quotation. It was a report that was commissioned by President Macron that recommended setting up a commission.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like here, the discussion about reparations in the United States is only a discussion about setting up a commission. We're a commission to examine it. That's it. That's all that's being asked for right now. So yeah, they're just moving right along with that. And yeah, so last year, okay, so Algeria wants a cannon that was built in 1542 returned from them. In 1683, I had no idea the French had been in Algeria for so fucking long. In 1683, the French consul at the time, Jean Levaquer, was shoved into the cannon and blasted from it during a failed attempt by the French Navy to take the city. It's like, is that not enough for you guys to leave? So, but what happened was, so the cannon was taken in 1830, and now it's at a naval base with a statue of a rooster, which is, I didn't really understand what the problem was with that, but the rooster is a symbol of France. So that is just extra insulting to people, and people want that back. And okay, let me just wrap up Algeria, and then do you want to play some music?
Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Okay, so I watched a segment on Al Jazeera. They have these panels, and with 3 people on them. That was where I found out that there were no Algerians on this panel. Oh, okay, so the big thing Macron did was say that colonialism was a crime against humanity, or something like that. That it was a human rights violation, or something like that. He didn't even go far enough to say crime against humanity. He said human rights violation. So there was this old French guy on the panel who said, they were talking about what Macron said, and he's the first president to be born after after the occupation and colonization of Algeria, and so he's actually made the so he's actually said the so the old French guy he said, well, I don't quite agree that colonization is all bad. And so I'm like, that, and he started saying, and so, okay, he's not an idiot. The guy was going I am Gallic, and France was colonized by the Romans, and the Romans gave us roads and all of that, so I'm glad that we were colonized. Oh, he said that, he's sending you email. So he's saying that he was glad that France was colonized by the Romans. With the undercurrent, and the guy is thinking the bullshit excuses that colonizers use is we came into these countries and built all this shit, as though people that lived in the countries wouldn't have figured it out themselves, which I know. And so I was like, wow. Then I was like, okay. But that's what I like about the Al Jazeera panels, is that they get people with vastly different opinions. Right. So that was cool. Okay, so that's what we got for Algeria at the moment. And we're gonna take a break and listen to some music and be back.
Here we go. Let's do it.